Alien girl falls in love at first sight with human after casual bar conversation. Travelers of countless species filled the streets, their voices mingling into a strange, musical hum. It was a city where the unusual was ordinary and the ordinary was rarely noticed. Lyra stepped carefully onto the crowded sidewalk. Her species, the Alari, were known for their calm intelligence and expressive bioluminescent patterns that shimmered across their skin when they felt strong emotions. Tonight, her lights glowed softly in shades of blue and violet, showing her curiosity as she moved among the crowd. She had traveled far from her homeworld, eager to understand human culture and observe them in their natural environment. Despite her calm appearance, Lyra felt a flutter of excitement. She had read about humans, how unpredictable and emotional they could be, but she had never interacted with one face to face. And tonight, she had promised herself that she would observe and learn nothing more. The bar she entered was busy but welcoming. Its warm yellow lights and low hum of music made it feel different from the cold streets outside. Humans and aliens alike filled the tables, laughing, talking, and sharing drinks. The scent of roasted spices and unfamiliar foods lingered in the air. Lyra slid onto a stool at the end of the bar, careful not to draw too much attention. Her glowing patterns dimmed slightly as she focused on watching the room. Her eyes scanned the crowd, and that was when she saw him. A human about her height with tousled dark hair and a relaxed posture sat at the bar. He smiled easily at the bartender and laughed at something the bartender said. Lyra noted how naturally expressive he was. His eyes held a warmth she had not expected from humans, an openness that made him approachable and yet mysterious. The human noticed her too, of course. Perhaps it was the unusual shimmer of her skin, or the way she seemed to observe everything around her with quiet intensity. He stood and moved toward her, a friendly smile on his face. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, his voice smooth and easy. Lyra hesitated for only a moment. She had not planned to speak with anyone, yet something about this human made her curious. "No, you may," she said, her voice calm but carrying a note of intrigue. The human slid onto the stool beside her and held out his hand. "I'm Jack," he said, "and you are?" "I am Lyra," she replied, touching his hand briefly, careful not to startle him. A faint blue glow pulsed across her skin, an Alari sign of interest and cautious friendliness. Jack's eyes widened slightly at the glow, but he smiled. "I've never seen someone shine like that before. You're amazing." Lyra felt an unfamiliar warmth in her chest. No Alari would ever call her amazing for something so natural. It was human praise, spontaneous and heartfelt, and it stirred something inside her she could not name. She blinked, letting a hint of violet ripple across her skin. "I am learning about humans," she said. "They are fascinating creatures," Jack chuckled. "Fascinating, I like that. Humans are interesting, but sometimes we're chaotic, dangerous even, but mostly interesting." He leaned closer, resting an elbow on the bar. "And I like meeting people who think the same way." Lyra tilted her head, studying him carefully. She had read about human humor and how they used exaggeration in speech, but this natural charm was new. It was disarming in a way that made her feel unexpectedly calm, yet oddly excited. They began to talk, cautiously at first. Jack asked her about her travels, and Lyra answered, describing her mission to observe humans and learn about their cultures. He listened with genuine interest, nodding and asking questions that made her explain things more clearly. She was impressed by how patient he was, how he encouraged her to share her thoughts without judgment. As the conversation flowed, they discovered small things in common. Jack had a love for exploration, visiting new worlds, trying new foods, and meeting new people. Lyra had a love for understanding, learning languages, observing behaviors, and mapping cultures. Though different in approach, their goals shared a surprising similarity: curiosity about the universe. Hours seemed to pass in minutes. Lyra found herself laughing at Jack's stories of human adventures gone slightly wrong, like the time he had accidentally triggered a ship alarm on a distant planet, or at his playful exaggerations about mundane human customs. She had never laughed like this before, not in a social setting, and the feeling surprised her. Jack, too, was captivated. He had met travelers before, but none like Lyra. Her appearance alone was stunning. The soft glow of her skin, the elegant movements, the way she seemed to study every detail of the world around her. But it was her mind, sharp and observant, combined with a quiet playfulness that drew him in most. At one point, Jack leaned back in his chair, smiling. I never thought meeting someone from another planet could feel so familiar, he said. Like I don't know, like I've known you before. Strange, right? Lyra's glow flickered brightly, a deep purple this time, signaling intense curiosity and confusion. I do not understand this feeling, she admitted. It is new to me. My species does not experience this. She paused, trying to analyze the sudden warmth in her chest, the way her lights pulsed faster when he laughed. I am drawn to you, strongly. Jack's smile widened and he tilted his head slightly, intrigued. Drawn to me? He repeated softly. You mean like you like me? Lyra nodded slowly, her lights shifting to a steady violet. I do not know why, but this feeling is powerful, unexpected. I think it is called attraction. Jack's eyes softened. Well, I like you too, Lyra. There's something about you, something I can't explain either. He reached out and gently touched her hand again. The warmth of the contact made her lights shimmer in soft waves, and she realized that this human touch was comforting, exciting, unsettling, and completely irresistible. The bar around them seemed to fade into the background. The chatter, the music, the clinking of glasses, all of it became a distant hum as they focused on one another. For the first time, Lyra felt a connection that was beyond study or observation. It was personal, real, and for the first time in her life she was uncertain about what to do next. Jack, sensing her hesitation, smiled reassuringly. We don't have to figure it all out tonight, he said. Let's just talk, get to know each other, that's all. Lyra nodded, appreciating his patience. Her glow softened into a gentle blue, signaling calm but continued interest. She realized that she could spend hours talking to this human and never tire of learning about him, even as he learned about her. As the night deepened, the crowd began to thin. Travelers returned to their ships or to lodges, and the bar quieted. Jack and Lyra remained seated, sharing stories and thoughts about the stars, the planets they had seen, and the endless possibilities the galaxy offered. Lyra noticed something curious. She wanted to stay near him to continue their conversation. Her species valued logic and analysis, yet her heart, or whatever she might call this human-like emotion, urged her to linger, to listen, to learn more. And she realized something astonishing. Perhaps the human curiosity she admired so much was something that could be felt, not just studied. Before leaving, Jack leaned closer and said, I hope I see you again, Lyra. I've never met anyone like you and, well, I want to know more. Lyra's lights pulsed in a bright, warm violet, a sign of strong, positive emotion. I would like that as well, she replied. Your species is unpredictable, but I find it enjoyable. I wish to explore this feeling further. They exchanged a final smile, one that promised more than words could express. Outside, the city lights continued to flicker and hum, but inside Lyra's mind, a new light had been sparked, one that would not dim easily. As she stepped out into the cool night, she realized that this casual encounter at a bar had changed something inside her. She did not fully understand why, but one thing was certain. She was drawn to this human in a way that logic could not explain. And for the first time in her life, Lyra felt a powerful curiosity, not about the stars, not about distant worlds, but about one person, a human named Jack. The morning sun of Varine Prime rose slowly over the city, casting soft light across the metal streets and hovering ships. The city that had seemed so alive the night before now appeared calmer, quieter, yet still full of movement. Traders wheeled crates across the streets, tourists hurried from one market to another, and the faint hum of distant spacecraft filled the air. Lyra walked slowly through the streets, her glowing patterns muted to soft shades of blue. She could still feel the memory of last night's encounter with Jack pulsing in her chest, an unfamiliar warmth she could not ignore. Her species valued calm logic above all else, yet this feeling, curious, magnetic, and slightly chaotic, made her hesitate at every turn. She found herself glancing at the bar they had met in, hoping, though she would never admit it, that he might appear again. Meanwhile, Jack had already begun his day in a completely different way. He navigated the crowded streets with ease, waving to vendors and smiling at familiar faces. Yet even in the busy morning, he found his mind drifting back to Lyra. Her glowing patterns, her quiet curiosity, and the way she had laughed at his stories, everything about her lingered in his thoughts. As he entered the bar where they had met, he scanned the room, hoping for a glimpse of her, but the seats were empty. He felt a small disappointment settle in his chest, yet he did not give up. He knew there was a way to reach her even if she was cautious about approaching humans again. He spoke to the bartender, a short, round alien with multiple eyes, and left a simple message for Lyra through the bar's digital communication network. "If you are here, meet me at the floating market today. I think you'll enjoy it. Jack." Lyra, standing nearby and scanning the streets for new sights, felt the message ping on her personal device. Her glow shifted to a soft green, a sign of curiosity and mild surprise. She read the message carefully, her mind racing with questions. The floating market was a human event, designed for leisure and commerce. It was said to be a place where cultures mixed, foods from many worlds were shared, and music filled the air. After a moment of hesitation, Lyra decided to accept the invitation. Curiosity outweighed caution. She wanted to understand why this human had sparked such strong feelings within her. She adjusted the straps of her exploration bag and made her way toward the market, her glow flickering lightly as she moved. The floating market was a wonder. Large platforms floated gently above a shallow, reflective pool, connected by narrow walkways. Stalls of every shape and color displayed foods, trinkets, fabrics, and artifacts from countless worlds. Aliens of all types mingled, some tasting spicy delicacies, others haggling over rare treasures. Music from strange instruments and distant voices filled the air, creating a lively, almost magical atmosphere. Jack spotted her immediately, her soft glow making her easy to find among the bustling crowd. He waved, and she returned the gesture, her nervousness hidden beneath a mask of calm curiosity. He led her through the market, pointing out foods and objects he thought might interest her. "Try this," he said, handing her a small, brightly colored fruit. "It's called a Zorban berry. Humans love it because it's sweet but slightly sour." Lyra examined the berry carefully, analyzing its texture, scent, and color. Then cautiously she took a bite. Her glow pulsed with surprise and delight. "It is enjoyable," she said. "Sweet, as you predicted, yet unusual. My species does not often taste such combinations." Jack laughed. "I'm glad you like it. I knew you would. Humans have a way of mixing things in ways that surprise everyone." They continued walking through the market, sampling foods, playing small games set up for visitors, and laughing at minor mistakes. Like when Lyra tried a levitating dessert that slipped from her hands and floated away, only for Jack to chase it and catch it just in time. Each moment strengthened the bond forming between them, and Lyra felt her unusual feelings grow stronger, harder to ignore. As they moved to a quieter section of the market, away from the largest crowds, Jack asked, "Lyra, can I ask you something?" "Of course," she replied, her glow softening to a gentle shade of lavender, signaling calm openness. "Why do you think you are drawn to me?" Jack asked, his voice low and curious. "I mean, humans are different from your species. Why me?" Lyra paused, trying to find words. Her species often struggled to explain emotions that were not strictly logical. "I do not fully understand," she admitted. "This feeling is unlike anything I have known. My logic tells me to observe and study, yet my thoughts, my attention, are drawn toward you. Your behavior, your expressions, your kindness stimulate something in me, a desire to remain near you, to understand you more fully." Jack smiled, a mix of wonder and warmth in his eyes. "I feel the same. You're unlike anyone I've ever met. Calm, thoughtful, intelligent, and yet playful. It's easy being with you in a way I didn't expect." Lyra's glow pulsed brighter, flickering between soft blue and warm violet. The human's words stirred feelings she had not experienced before. She realized that what she felt was not just curiosity, it was connection, a bond that transcended species and reason. They found a quiet bench overlooking a small waterfall flowing through the market's central pool. The water sparkled under the morning sun, reflecting colors from the floating stalls. Lyra sat beside Jack, feeling a strange comfort in his presence. Jack leaned back, watching the water. "I travel a lot, Lyra, see all kinds of planets, meet all kinds of people. But something about this, about meeting you, feels different, like I'm supposed to learn something from this, not just about you, but about myself." Lyra considered his words carefully. "Perhaps humans are capable of teaching us more than we anticipate. Your species does not always follow logic, yet you find solutions through emotion, instinct, intuition. It is remarkable." Jack chuckled softly. "Emotion, instinct, intuition, you make it sound like a recipe for disaster." "It is unpredictable," Lyra admitted. "Yet there is beauty in your unpredictability. It is fascinating. You inspire feelings unknown to me, feelings I cannot yet name." Jack looked at her, noticing the shimmer of her glowing skin as she spoke. Maybe it's called trust, he said softly. Or maybe it's something closer to friendship or something more. Lyra's patterns flickered quickly, shades of violet and green pulsing as she processed his words. I think it may be something more, she whispered almost to herself. I do not know why, yet it feels important. The rest of the day passed in a blur of shared experiences. They tried alien street games, where Lyra's quick thinking often gave her the edge. Jack laughed as he stumbled through some of the more complex challenges, but she cheered him on, her bioluminescence glowing brighter with excitement. They sampled foods with unusual textures and flavors, each bite sparking laughter and surprise. As evening approached, the market lights began to glow softly, reflecting off the water and creating a magical, almost dreamlike atmosphere. Lyra and Jack paused near a small fountain, watching the colors shift across the floating platforms. For a moment they said nothing, simply enjoying the calm together. Jack finally broke the silence. Lyra, I don't know what tomorrow will bring or next week or even next month, but I do know that meeting you has been one of the best things I've ever done. Lyra's glow brightened warmly, a steady violet this time, signaling deep appreciation and connection. I feel the same, she admitted. Your presence is comforting and yet exciting. I wish to continue this, to learn more about you and perhaps about myself. Jack reached out and gently held her hand. The warmth of the contact, simple as it was, made Lyra's lights pulse in waves of violet and soft blue. Then let's keep learning together, he said. They remained seated as the city slowly darkened around them, the floating market alive with soft light and distant music. For the first time, Lyra realized that curiosity could be about more than knowledge. It could be about people, about connection, and about feelings that logic could not fully explain. In that moment, a small, quiet understanding passed between them. They did not need to define their feelings or even understand them completely. What mattered was the connection, the shared experience, and the desire to explore not only the galaxy, but each other's worlds and hearts. As the night settled in, Lyra rose slowly, her glow a steady violet blue. I must return to my quarters, she said, though she hesitated before turning. But I will meet you again tomorrow if you wish. Jack smiled, squeezing her hand gently. I'll be here, he said. I wouldn't miss it for anything. Lyra departed, her mind alight with new feelings and a quiet excitement that had nothing to do with her mission or her studies. She understood one thing clearly. This human, this strange, fascinating creature named Jack, had sparked something within her that could not be ignored. And for the first time, Lyra wondered not just about the stars, the planets, or the cultures of other species, but about love, connection, and the unpredictable beauty of the human heart. And as she walked back through the quiet streets, she felt a sense of anticipation, a thrill of discovery, and a quiet certainty. This was only the beginning. The city of Varine Prime had settled into a steady rhythm as the days passed. Traders moved along the metal streets, starships came and went, and travelers of countless species filled the bars and markets. For most visitors, life was a series of routines, of tasks and interactions. But for Lyra, the last few days had become something entirely new. Her thoughts often drifted back to Jack. The human fascinated her, and not just for his unusual appearance or the easy way he spoke. There was something about his presence that made her glow, a feeling that her species rarely experienced. Her bioluminescent patterns pulsed softly as she walked through her quarters, replaying the moments from the floating market in her mind. Yet, not all her thoughts were calm. Her colleagues, fellow Alari observers, had begun to notice a change in her behavior. They were quiet and measured, moving with precision, yet Lyra's mind seemed to flit constantly between her mission and the human she had met. You appear distracted, one of them, Talon, said during a group discussion on interspecies observation. His glow pulsed faintly in green, a color of concern. Your focus should remain on your work. Humans, they are unpredictable. They may cause complications. Lyra nodded, trying to maintain her calm exterior. I am aware, she said softly. Yet I find value in learning about them, not only academically but personally. Talon's glow shifted to a warning amber. Personally, be careful, Lyra. Humans are different. Their emotions, they are volatile. Attraction, friendship, even minor attachment can interfere with logic and observation. Lyra considered his words carefully. Logic told her to heed the warning. Her species had always valued detachment and clear reasoning. Yet a small, insistent part of her could not ignore the warmth she felt when she thought of Jack, the quiet pull she could not explain or resist. Later that day, Lyra left her quarters to meet Jack. She arrived at their usual meeting spot near the market, only to find that he was nowhere to be seen. The usual sense of excitement she felt when approaching him was replaced by a mild unease. She waited, pacing slowly, watching the crowds, until she finally saw him emerging from the streets, carrying a small package of supplies. "Sorry I'm late," Jack said, noticing her waiting figure. He smiled warmly, brushing a stray lock of hair from his face. "I had to pick up some things for our little exploration." Lyra's glow softened to blue-green, signaling her relief. "I understand," she said. "It is acceptable." They began walking together, moving toward a quieter part of the city where smaller markets and minor trade hubs existed. Jack spoke enthusiastically about his plan for the day, a simple exploration of a recently discovered asteroid field near the city's orbit. It was safe, he assured her, and full of minor challenges that would test their problem-solving and agility. Lyra listened carefully, analyzing the potential risks and rewards. "Your plan is logical," she said. "Yet I must note, your species often reacts without full calculation. Impulsiveness may cause complications." Jack grinned, unbothered by her words. "That's part of the fun," he replied. "Sometimes the unexpected teaches us more than careful planning ever could." The journey to the asteroid field was smooth at first. They navigated Jack's small, agile craft with ease, drifting among floating rocks and sparkling mineral deposits. Lyra observed each rock's position, analyzing their trajectories and calculating potential dangers. Jack, meanwhile, moved with a relaxed confidence, adjusting controls instinctively, trusting his senses in ways Lyra's species rarely did. For a while, everything went perfectly. Lyra began to feel a sense of admiration, not just for Jack's skills, but for his unique approach to challenges. She noted how humans could rely on intuition and experience to make decisions that defied strict logic, yet often succeeded. It was intriguing. Then the first sign of tension appeared. As they approached a narrow passage between two larger asteroids, Jack's impulsive maneuver caused a minor collision with one of the rocks. The craft jolted, alarms blaring. Lyra's glow shifted rapidly to violet, a sign of stress and rapid thought processing. "Jack, that was unnecessary," she exclaimed, gripping the console tightly. "You could have caused severe damage." Jack chuckled nervously, tapping a few controls to stabilize the ship. "Relax. It's fine, minor collision, nothing serious, just part of the adventure." Lyra's glow pulsed more intensely, shades of violet and blue mixing as she tried to reconcile her growing emotions with her logical mind. "Your recklessness, it is concerning. My calculations predicted a safe trajectory, and you altered it without warning." Jack sighed, realizing he might have upset her. "I didn't mean to, I just reacted instinctively. Humans do that sometimes, we take risks. It's not always perfect, but it works mostly." Lyra took a deep breath, attempting to calm herself. "It works sometimes," she said, her voice quieter now. "But unpredictability can create danger. You must be cautious." Jack nodded, sensing her frustration. "I understand, I'll try to be more careful." The rest of the asteroid field exploration was quieter, each of them moving more cautiously. Lyra noted the subtle tension, the slight hesitation in Jack's normally confident movements. For a moment, she wondered if their differences in approach, human instinct versus Alari logic, might create a larger problem than she anticipated. By the time they returned to the city, the sun had begun to set, casting warm orange light across the metallic streets. The tension from the asteroid field lingered, making the normally exciting day feel heavy. They disembarked from the ship, walking side by side toward a quiet terrace overlooking the city. Jack finally broke the silence. "Lyra, I can see I upset you today," he said. "I didn't mean to, I just react in the moment. That's how humans often are." Lyra's glow flickered, softening into pale lavender. "I understand your species values spontaneity and instinct, yet your actions could have caused serious harm. I worry for both our safety." Jack nodded slowly, his expression serious. "I get that, and I appreciate you looking out for me. I like having someone who thinks carefully, who plans ahead. It's reassuring." Lyra considered his words, feeling the warmth in her chest grow. "Your words are comforting," she admitted. Yet I must remain vigilant. Emotions do not remove risk. They sat together in silence for a few moments, watching the city glow under the night sky. The tension gradually eased as the quiet comfort of shared presence settled over them. Lyra realized that despite their differences, they could balance one another, her careful thought countering his instinct, his boldness pushing her to experience life more fully. Jack reached over and lightly touched her hand. You know, Lyra, even with all the differences between us, I think we make a pretty good team. Lyra's glow brightened, shades of blue and violet flickering together. Yes, I agree. Despite the complications, your presence is valuable. For the first time since meeting him, Lyra allowed herself to admit, if only silently, that her attraction to Jack was not only strong but also growing. She had felt sparks of curiosity and connection before, but now she recognized the pull between them as something deeper, something that was more than observation or fascination. Yet even as she acknowledged this feeling, a small part of her remained cautious. Her species warned against emotional attachments that could interfere with judgment. She had to balance logic and emotion carefully or risk making mistakes she could not reverse. Jack, sensing her hesitation, smiled gently. We don't need to solve everything tonight, he said. We just need to enjoy the time we have, learn from each other, that's enough for now. Lyra's glow softened, a steady shade of gentle blue. Yes, that is sufficient, she agreed. She realized that humans often acted without fully understanding the consequences, yet they were capable of genuine learning and adaptation. And in this moment, she understood that she, too, could allow herself to experience something without full comprehension. They spent the remainder of the evening walking through the quiet streets, sharing small stories from their pasts and dreams for the future. Jack spoke of planets he wished to explore, and Lyra shared insights into her species, philosophy, and observations. Each exchange strengthened the bond between them, proving that connection could exist even amidst cultural differences and misunderstandings. By the time they reached the terrace overlooking the city once more, the stars had begun to appear in the dark sky, glittering like scattered gems. Lyra's glow reflected the starlight, soft and steady as she looked at Jack. I am grateful for this day, she said softly. Despite the tension, the unexpected, the risk, it has been enlightening. Jack smiled warmly. So am I, Lyra, and don't worry, we'll face the unexpected together. I think we make a pretty good team no matter what comes our way. Lyra considered his words, letting the warmth of them settle inside her. She understood now that connection was not about perfect understanding or flawless logic. It was about patience, trust, and willingness to accept differences while learning from one another. And as they parted for the night, each returning to their respective quarters, Lyra's mind buzzed with thoughts of Jack. Not just about his human unpredictability, but about the growing bond that had formed between them. It was a bond that neither logic nor instinct could fully explain, yet both found deeply compelling. For the first time, she allowed herself to hope, not just for safety or understanding, but for something more. Something that bridged species, cultures, and even worlds. And in the quiet hum of the city around her, Lyra understood one undeniable truth. The human named Jack had changed something inside her, and she was ready to explore it further, no matter the risks, no matter the misunderstandings, no matter the complications. Because sometimes the greatest discoveries were not found among the stars, but in the hearts of others. The stars stretched endlessly above, casting a soft silver light across the deck of Jack's small spacecraft. The gentle hum of the engines filled the quiet space, accompanied by the occasional creak of metal as the ship adjusted to the subtle currents of the interstellar medium. Lyra stood near the observation window, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing softly in a mixture of blue and violet, reflecting her calm excitement. Jack sat at the control panel, adjusting the ship's trajectory with practiced ease. We're heading to the Delara cluster, he said, glancing at her. Not dangerous, but it's uncharted enough to make it interesting. I thought we could test some navigation skills and maybe see some unusual sights. Lyra tilted her head, curiosity evident in the gentle shift of her glow. Uncharted, meaning unknown regions of space? This involves risk, Jack grinned. A little, but risk can be fun, especially when you're not alone. Lyra's patterns pulsed softly. She had been trained to calculate risks and minimize danger at all costs. Yet, being with Jack made her feel different. Her thoughts were not just focused on safety or observation. They were drawn to him, to his reactions, his humor, his presence. She realized that adventure could be more than calculated exploration. It could be about trust, shared moments, and connection. As the spacecraft glided into the Delara cluster, Lyra and Jack began their first task, navigating through an asteroid field dotted with small, glittering mineral deposits. Lyra analyzed each rock's trajectory carefully, pointing out safe pathways. Jack, in his usual spontaneous way, adjusted their route based on instinct rather than calculation. "Careful, Jack!" Lyra exclaimed as a small asteroid drifted unexpectedly into their path. Her glow pulsed rapidly, signaling her heightened concern. Jack's hands moved quickly, redirecting the ship with a slight twist of the controls. "Got it," he said, laughing as the ship tilted gracefully around the asteroid. "See, nothing to worry about." Lyra exhaled slowly, her glow returning to soft blue. "Your instinct is effective, yet unpredictable. I cannot predict every reaction," Jack smiled. "That's the fun part. Sometimes unpredictability teaches more than planning ever could." For hours, they maneuvered through the asteroid field, learning from each other's strengths. Lyra's careful calculations combined with Jack's instinctive actions allowed them to navigate safely while discovering rare mineral deposits along the way. Lyra's excitement grew with each success, her patterns flickering in bright violet and soft green as she processed the thrill of achievement alongside Jack. After leaving the asteroid field, they arrived at a small, deserted moon with unusual rock formations and glowing crystals. The surface shimmered under the light of a nearby star, creating an otherworldly landscape that neither had seen before. Jack stepped onto the surface first, his boots crunching softly against the mineral-rich soil. "Wow," he said, turning to Lyra. "This is incredible. Look at those crystals. They glow like your patterns when you're excited." Lyra allowed herself a small laugh, her glow shifting to a bright, soft blue. "Indeed, the similarity is remarkable. It is aesthetically pleasing." They spent hours exploring the moon, climbing rock formations, examining crystals, and observing the local flora, which glowed faintly in the dim light. Jack's enthusiasm was contagious, and Lyra found herself laughing more freely than she had in weeks. Each misstep or accidental stumble became a moment of shared amusement, strengthening their bond. At one point, Lyra discovered a small cave partially hidden behind a cluster of glowing rocks. "Jack, there is something inside," she said, her glow pulsing with curiosity. Jack followed, shining his handheld light into the cave. Inside, they found a pool of water reflecting the crystal glow, creating an almost magical effect. Strange, delicate creatures floated in the pool, their bodies translucent and shimmering in soft colors. "Wow," Jack whispered, kneeling near the edge. "I've never seen anything like this. Nature is amazing, isn't it?" Lyra knelt beside him, her patterns flickering softly. "It is extraordinary. Such beauty in unexpected places." She observed him closely, noticing the wonder in his eyes, the gentle way he interacted with the environment. She realized she admired not only his bravery, but also his respect for life and curiosity about the universe. As they explored deeper into the cave, a small challenge arose. One of the floating creatures became tangled in some mineral formations, struggling to free itself. Lyra immediately calculated the safest approach to help, while Jack instinctively reached into the water, carefully lifting the creature free. "You saved it," Lyra exclaimed, her glow pulsing with admiration. "Your reaction was quick and effective." Jack shrugged, smiling. "You were calculating all the risks. We make a pretty good team, don't we?" Lyra nodded, her glow brightening in agreement. "Yes, complementary skills, effective collaboration." By the time they returned to the ship, night had fallen over the Delara cluster. Stars twinkled brilliantly against the dark void of space, and the soft hum of the spacecraft seemed to harmonize with the quiet beauty of the galaxy. Lyra and Jack sat side by side on the observation deck, watching the stars reflect in their eyes. Jack spoke softly, almost as if talking to himself. "You know, Lyra, every adventure is better with someone you can trust. I didn't realize how much I needed that until now." Lyra's glow pulsed warmly, reflecting her understanding. "Trust is valuable. Your presence allows me to experience new possibilities beyond observation and calculation. I enjoy our shared adventures." Jack turned to her, smiling gently. "I enjoy them too, and you've taught me to slow down, to think, to appreciate more than just the thrill. You make everything better." Lyra's glow shifted to soft violet, her patterns pulsing in waves of gentle warmth. And you teach me that spontaneity and instinct can be beneficial. That emotion does not always hinder logic, but sometimes enhances it. They shared a quiet moment, simply watching the stars. In that silence, Lyra realized something profound. She had never felt such connection before. The unusual pull she had experienced when first meeting Jack had grown into something deeper, something that combined curiosity, admiration, and affection. It was an emotion that her species rarely allowed, yet it felt natural, necessary, and undeniable. The next day brought new challenges. Jack had heard of a small, derelict space station nearby, abandoned but rumored to contain valuable artifacts and data. They decided to investigate, combining Lyra's analytical skills with Jack's human intuition. Navigating the station was tricky. Panels were damaged, gravity flickered in certain areas, and the layout was confusing. Lyra calculated potential hazards, guiding Jack safely through narrow corridors. Jack, in turn, spotted hidden passages and structural weaknesses, using his instincts to avoid accidents that pure logic might have overlooked. At one point, a minor collapse blocked their intended path. Lyra immediately began calculating alternative routes, her glow flashing rapidly in concentration. Jack looked at her, concern on his face. "We'll get through this, together," he said confidently. With careful coordination, they navigated the station's challenges. Lyra's admiration for Jack's courage and adaptability grew, while Jack marveled at her precision and insight. Each problem they solved together strengthened not only their teamwork, but also the bond forming between them. During a quiet break in the exploration, they sat in a large observation chamber overlooking the galaxy. Stars, planets, and distant nebulae stretched out in breathtaking patterns. Lyra's glow pulsed softly as she turned to Jack. "I did not anticipate this level of connection," she admitted. "Your species inspires feelings new and profound. I feel something more than curiosity." Jack smiled, reaching out to gently touch her hand. "Lyra, I feel the same. Every day with you, I learn something new, not just about space, but about life and about myself." Lyra's glow brightened, warm violet merging with soft blue. She realized that their adventures had become more than exploration. They were a journey of shared experience, trust, and emotion. The thrill of discovery extended beyond galaxies and asteroids. It included each other. As they prepared to leave the station and return to their spacecraft, Jack glanced at her with a playful smile. "Ready for the next adventure?" Lyra nodded, her glow steady and bright. "Yes, together." The spacecraft lifted off, gliding through the void of space, carrying both of them toward new horizons. Lyra and Jack had faced challenges, navigated dangers, and discovered wonders. But more importantly, they had discovered each other. And as the stars stretched infinitely around them, they both understood that this was only the beginning of their journey. Together, across the galaxy, learning, exploring, and experiencing the unpredictable beauty of life and connection. The stars outside the small spacecraft twinkled like scattered diamonds, and the gentle hum of the engines filled the quiet space. Jack and Lyra had been traveling for days through uncharted regions, exploring asteroid belts, glowing gas clouds, and quiet moons. Every adventure had brought them closer together, teaching them to trust each other, to laugh together, and to face unexpected dangers as a team. Tonight, the ship floated quietly near a small, serene planet with turquoise oceans and silver-white beaches. The view from the observation deck was breathtaking. Lyra's bioluminescent patterns pulsed softly in soft blue and violet, reflecting both her calm contentment and her lingering nervous excitement. She had never felt such a mixture of emotions before: curiosity, admiration, affection, and something deeper, something she now could not deny. Jack leaned against the railing beside her, watching her glow. "You look beautiful tonight," he said gently, his voice warm and sincere. "I don't think I've ever seen anyone glow like that, not in the way you do." Lyra's glow brightened, flickering in shades of violet and soft blue. "I appreciate your observation," she said softly. "Your presence evokes feelings new and profound. I do not fully understand them, yet I desire their continuation." Jack smiled, reaching out to gently take her hand. "Lyra, I feel the same. Every moment with you, I learn more than I expected, about life, about connection, and about what it means to care for someone." "I care for you." Her glow intensified, shifting to deep violet. Lyra's pulse quickened, a physical signal of emotion she had never before experienced in such intensity. Her mind raced with thoughts, trying to reconcile this new feeling with her species' strict logic. But the warmth in her chest, the joy of Jack's words, and the sincerity in his eyes made all calculations irrelevant. She realized that what she felt was more than fascination, more than friendship. It was love. "I feel the same," Lyra admitted, her voice trembling slightly. "Though my species does not often experience such attachment, I am drawn to you beyond reason, beyond observation. I love you." Jack's smile widened, and he gently pressed her hand against his chest. "Lyra, I love you too. I didn't expect this when we met in that bar, but it feels right, natural. I want to share every adventure with you, every discovery, every moment." For a long time, they simply sat there, holding hands, letting the quiet hum of the spacecraft and the twinkling stars surround them. The galaxy stretched endlessly before them, a canvas of possibilities. And for the first time, Lyra felt a sense of completeness, not from knowledge or calculation, but from connection. The next day, they decided to explore the planet below. It was serene and untouched, with shallow, crystal-clear oceans and forests of silver-leaved trees. Lyra moved carefully, analyzing the terrain, while Jack wandered freely, marveling at the beauty. "Come on, Lyra," he called playfully, running toward a glowing river. "This is incredible." Lyra hesitated, then allowed herself to follow, her glow flickering in anticipation. The water shimmered in response to the sunlight, and when she stepped in, the soft ripples made her patterns pulse in vibrant blue and violet. Jack laughed, splashing water gently toward her. "You're reckless," she said, a small smile forming on her lips. "Yet enjoyable." Jack grinned. "I think we balance each other," he replied. "You think carefully and plan, I react instinctively. Together we're unstoppable." Lyra's glow pulsed warmly. She realized that their differences, once sources of tension, had become the foundation of their strength. Jack's spontaneity challenged her, pushed her to experience life beyond analysis. Her careful thought guided him, helping him navigate dangers safely. Together, they had created a partnership that neither logic nor instinct could achieve alone. As they explored, Lyra noticed small, delicate creatures moving along the silver sands. They glowed faintly, pulsing with life in harmony with the planet itself. Jack knelt down, watching them closely. "Look at these little guys," he said softly. "So fragile, yet so alive." "Amazing, isn't it?" Lyra knelt beside him, studying the creatures. "Yes, they are beautiful. Their existence is delicate yet purposeful. I understand your fascination." Jack looked at her, his expression serious for the first time in hours. "Lyra, I know our time together is unusual. Different species, different worlds, but I don't care about that. I care about you. I want to face the unknown, the galaxy, everything with you." Lyra's glow shifted to bright violet, signaling deep emotion. "And I want the same. Your courage, your kindness, your curiosity inspire me. I wish to explore life and the stars with you as my companion." They spent the day discovering hidden valleys, bioluminescent caves, and strange flora that reacted to their presence. Each discovery deepened their bond, creating memories that would last far longer than the stars themselves. At night, they sat on the silver beach, watching two moons rise over the turquoise ocean. Jack turned to Lyra, taking both her hands in his. "I've met many people in my life," he said quietly, "but none like you. You change the way I see the universe. You've shown me that exploration isn't just about places, it's about connection, about trust, learning, and love." Lyra's glow pulsed gently in soft blue and violet, her chest, her being filling with warmth. "And you have shown me that emotion can enhance understanding, and that connection transcends species, logic, and expectation. I cherish you." The next days were filled with more adventures, but each moment carried a sense of quiet intimacy. They explored floating crystal caves, navigated gentle rivers of glowing water, and watched distant planets rise above the horizon. Every shared smile, every laugh, every minor challenge reinforced their trust in one another. At one point, while exploring a small asteroid belt, a minor malfunction occurred in the spacecraft. The engines flickered, and alarms sounded softly. Lyra's glow brightened in concern. "Jack, there is a problem with the engine. It may escalate." Jack acted instinctively, moving quickly to diagnose the issue. "I've got it," he said confidently. "Don't worry, we can handle this." Lyra analyzed the system carefully, guiding Jack with precise instructions. His hands moved with instinctive skill, her mind filled with careful calculations. Together they resolved the issue, the alarms silencing as the engines hummed steadily once more. "You see," Jack said with a grin, wiping his hands, "we make a great team." Lyra's glow pulsed warmly, and she nodded. "Yes, together we are stronger. Your instincts, my analysis, combined effective." After the small crisis, they floated in silence near a distant nebula, watching the brilliant colors of gas and dust swirl in endless patterns. Jack reached for Lyra's hand again. "Lyra, I know we've faced risks, explored unknown worlds, and challenged ourselves in ways neither of us expected. But I wouldn't change a single thing, not one moment, not one risk, especially meeting you." Lyra's glow shifted to deep violet, steady and warm. "I agree. Meeting you, experiencing life with you, has changed my perception of exploration, of connection, of emotion. I do not regret this path or this choice." In that moment, Lyra made a decision. Her mission, her studies, her species, warnings, all of it faded in importance compared to the undeniable truth before her. She loved this human, she trusted him, and she wanted to continue exploring the galaxy by his side. Jack, sensing her resolve, smiled brightly. "Then we move forward together. No matter where the stars take us, no matter what challenges appear, we face them as a team." Lyra's glow brightened, shimmering in soft blue and violet waves. "Yes, together." They shared a quiet moment, hands intertwined, floating among the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly before them, full of unknown worlds, hidden dangers, and breathtaking wonders. But with each other, they felt prepared to face anything. As the ship sailed toward a distant cluster of stars, Jack spoke softly, his voice filled with warmth and hope. "Lyra, I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I do know this: whatever happens, I want to experience it with you. Not just the stars, not just the adventures, but life itself. With you." Lyra's glow pulsed steadily, warm and strong. "And I wish the same. Your presence is integral to my experience, to my growth, to my understanding of the universe and of emotion. I love you, Jack." Jack smiled, leaning close and pressing his forehead gently against hers. "I love you too, Lyra, and we'll explore everything together, side by side." The stars outside sparkled as if reflecting their bond. The galaxy was vast, mysterious, and full of surprises, yet Lyra and Jack felt a sense of calm certainty. They had faced differences, dangers, and doubts, yet they had emerged stronger together. Their connection, trust, admiration, and love was unshakable. And as the spacecraft drifted onward into the infinite expanse of space, they knew one undeniable truth. No matter where the stars took them, they would face the universe together. Because sometimes, the greatest adventure was not discovering new worlds, but discovering the heart of another. And for Lyra and Jack, that adventure had only just begun.